Hey you, welcome to Quantum Code. I'm Martin. In this video, I'll show you how to create this cool mask effect. I'll also cover how to make a trail effect using particles to create this awesome result. By the way, all the assets are available for free, check the link in the description. This video will teach you how to hide a sprite everywhere except on the mask you designed. But you can use it to show an image only on your mask by using the same effect on the background. At the end of this video, I will even show you a more advanced example of this effect with a top-down view game, so stick till the end to see this. Without further ado, let's go straight into it. The very first step is to create your sprites. I use SPRITE to create mine in this case, but you can use any software you like. Then you want to set your background as transparent. And you want to save your sprite as a PNG file. Let's start with a brand new Godot project. I've just added the assets. So I have my sprites and my masks and a white image I'll use as a background. First thing you want to do is to go on project settings, go under display, window, and here you want to remember those numbers. I will just change them to my screen size, so 1920 and 1080, but you can leave them as they are, or you can change them. You can do whatever you want. You just need to remember those two numbers. Okay, now let's create a new 2D scene. I'll just call it mask example, and I will add the sprite I want to hide and to show only on my mask. So this will be the character. So let's drag and drop it. Now we have this sprite, and I will use a light 2D to create the effect. For the texture, I want the cycle mask, so I just drag and drop it to the texture. Now for the mode, I want mask, and under range, you want to check this property, item called mask, and I'll just set it to this one. I'll consider this layer is my light mask layer. Okay, so as I want my character, this sprite, to be affected by the light, I'll just set it under visibility. I'll set its light mask as this one. So now if I move the light, as you can see, it is hiding the sprite on those parts, and it is showing the sprite only on the texture I've added, so on the white parts. This is good, but we also want to hide the sprite everywhere on the screen where the light is not. So in order to do this, we need to create a texture which will be alpha equal to 0 everywhere, except on the mask we've created, where we will have a white color so we can see the player. Okay, so let's add a child node. It will be a viewport, and this viewport will be our texture. So let's call it mask viewport, and we will add a sprite as a child, call it mask, and drag and drop the cycle mask to the texture of this sprite. Now let's go back to light 2D and let's change the texture. Select new viewport texture and select your mask viewport. I forgot to set up the mask parameters, so let's go back in our mask viewport. For the size, you want to set your screen size, so that's the two numbers you needed to remember. So I'll set mine 1920 and 1080. Just check transparent background, so this needs to be enabled, and under render target you want also to enable v-flip, as it will be useful later. Now let's go back to our light 2D, and if we move it, we can see it is hiding the sprite, so it is working fine, but we don't see our texture anywhere. So this is due to, I think, what is a problem with Godot. I think it is an issue. The viewport is not rendering if we set it up as a light 2D texture. So what we need to do is to create a sprite, another one. Let's put it up here and call it mask texture holder. And for the texture, we just select new viewport texture and add the mask viewport. Now, as you can see, this sprite is showing the texture of the mask viewport. So we can see our mask sprite up here. And for the light 2D, if I move it, you can see the player is hidden everywhere except on this part, which is our sprite mask. Now we want our light 2D to fit the screen size. So I'll just set its transform back to 0. And under the offset, I'll set my screen size divided per 2. So 1920 divided per 2 and 1080 divided per 2. Okay, so now the light 2D is fitting our screen. I'll just do the same for the mask texture holder. You cannot move it, for example, here to do not see it, because if you just start the scene, as Godot will not have to render this, you will have the same problem with the light 2D. It will not render the viewport texture. So you need to have it in your screen. So I'll just set the transform to 0 and the offset to my screen size divided per 2. As we don't want to see this texture in our game, we'll just set the Z index to something like -10. So we are sure it will be on the background, and we will just use a background to hide this sprite. So let's add our white PNG. Let's set it under the character. Okay, I'll disable centered and set its scale to something like 50 and 50. I can just resize this. So it's not that huge. Okay, 30. 17. I've just resized my background. Let's call it background. So now this sprite will hide the mask texture holder, and we don't want to see it only on our mask. So for the light mask, let's set this layer so it will not be affected by the light 2D. In order to test this, I'll just set a simple script to the mask sprite on the viewport. So I add a script, let's call it mouse position. And on the process function, I'll just do position equal get global mouse position. So the mask sprite will be on our mouse position. Now let's back to the scene and hit Ctrl S to save it. And we can play our scene. Just select it as default scene. Now if I move my mouse, as you can see, the player is visible only on our mask texture. So that's good. Let's do something a little bit more advanced. So I just toggle the vision on my light 2D, move my sprite on the middle, and add a igloo sprite on top of it, and also my footsteps sprite. I'll just set them like that. Okay. Those two sprites, I don't want them to be affected by the light, as I want to see my character only when I pass my mouse on the igloo. We need to have the character on top of the igloo. So now this sprite will be visible only when we have the light on top of it. So let's put back the light. And as you can see, the player appears when I pass my mouse on top of it. But we also want to make the igloo disappear when we have the mouse on top of it. So in order to do this, we can just duplicate our background, move it here. I'll just disable the light to see what we are doing. So now let's just call this one character background. Okay, so now what we are seeing is the image if the light was a full screen light. So we don't mask anything, and we see the player and this background. Now if we toggle back the light 2D, we have this character background. We want it to be affected by the light. So in visibility, so just check our layer. Now let's play the scene so we can test it. As you can see, the igloo and the footstep are disappearing because we are showing the background, which is in real on top of the igloo. So here, what we are seeing instead of the igloo when I pass the mouse is the background, the white background, the second one, so the character background. And now we can also see the character as before. So this is a way to not only show a sprite, like we show the character sprite, but also hide a sprite. You can hide the igloo sprite and the footstep sprite. Great, so we have almost finished. There is only one little improvement we can do. There is a kind of ugly black outline on the side of the sprite mask. I don't know if you see it, but I can show you, like right here. This black line, we don't want it. So this is due to the fact our mask is not full white and then full transparent. The circle will be too sharp and it will not be beautiful. And so we have a kind of outline with semi-transparent and semi-white pixel. So it is a white pixel, for example, with 0.5 on transparency. And this is not well handled by the viewport. But we can fix this. We can just select our mask texture, the one on the viewport. And under material, you want to create a new canvas item material. And on blend mode, just select pre-mult alpha. So this will be multiplying the alpha channel correctly. So if I check this, now this black outline is still a little bit visible in the editor, but if I play my scene, I don't know if you can see the difference, but here I clearly don't see any black line. Like, it is impossible to know where my mask is if I don't go over the igloo and my sprites. So yeah, it is more beautiful now. Now I just want to show you how to change the mask. So you are not obligated to use this cycle mask. You can create your own mask. For example, here I have a spiral mask. So I'll just set it as my mask texture, so the mask on the viewport, and hit play. And now, as you can see, I have a spiral texture showing the same sprites, but with a different effect. Now I will just change the sprites. So I'll delete all my sprites. So I just want to add 2 sprites. One will be the hidden part. So it will have this texture. And I just duplicate. And I'll call it show sprite. And set this texture. Now I will put the hidden sprite in top of the show sprite. This is always what we want to do. And just on the visibility, check the light max on the hidden sprite. So now it is hidden everywhere except on our mask part. So this one will be the hidden. In fact, it is on top of the other, but when we have our mask, only this one will be hidden and this one is showed every time. So that's always what you want to do. You want to have your hidden sprite in top of the sprite you want to show. So this one will be showed every time except when we are not hiding this sprite. So in fact, if I just turn off the light 2D, as you can see, this is the hidden sprite in top of the other. But as I set it as not visible with my light about everywhere except on my mask, this one is the visible one. Okay, let's create now a trail effect. So on the viewport, we have our mask setup. I will just set it back to the circle shape. Let's create a particle effect. So we add particles 2D. For the texture, we want to add our same circle mask. and process material, new particles material. Now on amount, we want to set it as something like 50, for example. We don't want the gravity, so let's set this to 0. Under the drawing, you want to disable local chords, so this will create a trail. To test it, you just want to set the mouse position script as a script for particles 2D2. So now it will follow the mouse. Okay, so as you can see, we have a trail generating, but let's create a better one. I will just scale down the lifetime to 0.66. Under trail, I will set the divisor to something like 4. And under scale, I will scale down my texture to 0.8 and create a new scale curve. Set this one down to 0 and just change this to something like that. I will also set my mask texture to on the scale to 0.8. So it will be same scale as the particles. And let's try this. Okay, so now as you can see, we have a nice trail effect because the trail is getting smaller with time. So yeah, this is a beautiful effect. But if you pay really attention, you can still see there are black outlines on the trail effect. So in order to change this, we just need to go down here to material, and same as we did before, new canvas item material, and on the blend mode, let's select pre-mult alpha. Okay, so there is no more black outline, but as you can see, there is this ugly white part. So to fix this, we need to go in mask viewport and disable, under rendering, disable HDR. This is to accept values which are outside the 0-1 range. So let's disable. And now we don't have this ugly effect. Let's test this. Now it is perfect. We don't have the black outline. We don't have any ugly effect. So we have this beautiful sprite mask effect, and it is quite dynamic because as you can see, you can change everything on this viewport. You can create any texture you want to hide or not hide some parts. So for example, if you want to create a new mask, you just create a shape like this one. This is a cycle, but you can create everything. And then you set it to a white color, and just the rest need to be transparent. And so you can just drag and drop it in your viewport, and then it will be showing this part. You can also change the script here. We made this script to follow the mouse, but you can follow everything and you can create even cool effects. By the way, we can just add a little last improvement. So on the scene, let's add a new script. Let's call it scene, for example, scene manager. And under ready, we just want to set input that set mouse mode and select input that mouse mode hidden. So now if we hit play, we only see the trail, we don't see the mouse cursor anymore. So that's really beautiful, and I hope you enjoy this effect. Now let me show you something a little bit more advanced. So here I have a 2D view game. I used a Y-sort with my player and a bunch of sprites and stuff, all the objects. By the way, if you want to learn how to create this 2D top-down game, I am currently making a video on it, a video series, so you can check it out. The link is in the description, and you also have the link somewhere by here. Now for our effect, so we cannot use the trick with the background that we used before, because we cannot use background with the Y-sorts. You are obligated to hide some sprites, and we don't want that. So what I did is I created a kind of double effect where I can hide a layer on the mask and I can show another layer on the mask. Let me show you. So as you can see, we have two worlds. One is the city, the other one is the forest. And when I pass over the sprite with the mouse, you can see we can see the other layer. So here we can have animation on both layers, as you can see. And for the player, it is visible also on both worlds. And if I move, it can, like, all the animations are perfect. Also, you can go behind objects. So we have this kind of top-down effect, like 3D effect. And it is working on both worlds. So that's good. Okay, just tell me if you are interested by me making a video tutorial on this. It is a little bit more complex to do, but I might even create a plugin or something to make it really simple to use. Just tell me if you think, or like if you need it, if you want to use it or anything. Now, if you like the video, consider subscribing and activate the bell to get notified when I publish the next video. Also, give us feedback or any comments. If you have a question, anything, you can leave it in comments. It will be really appreciated and I will answer quickly. See you in the next video.